All right. All right. Hello, everyone. We are going to do some some arena cube here. Well, let's just get right into it. Best of one. I tend to have a little bit more fun doing best of one of the arena cube, seeing as how the format drags out pretty far and you play most of your decks, most of the games. Doing best of three take quite a bit longer than regular, so we're just going to jump right in, play some arena cube. It's the first time to my channel. I welcome you. Hello. I stream on Twitch and I've been posting onto YouTube, and it looks like we're just waiting for one other person here, and we'll get started. So I've drafted this set quite a bit already, based on the sizable amount of my gold. All right. So I've had a lot of luck with Massacre Worm. I think this is like a tier higher than the Githyanki Warrior, which is a phenomenal card, and I wouldn't blame you for taking it. But I tend to see more aggressive decks, and Massacre Worm is a great way to play into the mid game and just finish the match. And Mono Black typically seems to be open most of the time, which is surprising as well, but that usually is the case. However, there's a lot of good white cards in this pack. Like you take the Githyanki, we're probably not going to see any of these white cards wheel, but because the blue is kind of like outside of Mind Flayer, you get two spells which are okay. The Deem Worthy would probably wheel. Inferno is probably going to be picked up, and so would Sorin. But these are the three black cards here. But I love Massacre Worm, and playing Mono Black is just so much fun. All right, so there's two really good cards here. There's Boris Citadel, which is awesome, but I think Gonti is just that much better than Boris' Citadel. However, there's also a strong white card. If we would have taken the Githyanki, we would have taken Elspeth Conquers Death, which is phenomenal. Outside of this pack has actually got a lot of good cards in it. The cube is actually pretty well fit out this time. There are some cards I feel like shouldn't be in the cube. Mainly like things like Hullbreaker, Horror, and Embercleave. There might be a couple of other cards I think might be too little OP, but those are the two that I feel like are just situationally are always too bullshit to pull out wins out of. It's kind of just ridiculous. I've played with both of them. I went 7-0 with every deck that I run those in. I try not to play those decks just because they're just not fun. I mean, you can win when you win, it's fine. It feels good. It feels better than losing, but I mean, it's just not a fun game to win with those cards. Embercleave is just they're both just kind of like, oh, the game's over. Yeah, I played a card that says I win. So rarely do you have the answer, especially in the situations where those cards shine. So I like Shambling Gas. Morbid Opportunist is fine. There's also Blood Fountain and Shade. Also Kaya here, which I am considering taking, or even Fable. Fable the Mirror Breaker is a very strong card. Definitely in the top tier. I think I'm going to take Kaya. It's just nice to have a flexible spot here. And I don't know. White is looking like it might be open, although we get... So... Sorry, I had something in my mouth. The first of Lockwane, very good card in the Mono Black shell. And I like it quite a bit. So we'll take the Blood Chief over Squirrel. I do like the Squirrel. Even in Mono Black, you might even be able to get away with using the ability every once in a while. But there are sacrifice builds in the Black build that this is fine. But yeah, we'll take Blood Chief's Thirst here. Alright, so we didn't get any black cards. Look at this late game Embercleave. I didn't even get any fixing here, so I'm just going to take the Embercleave and say no one gets to play with it in our queue. Yeah, I'm not one to complain too much about the format. I actually think overall the format's pretty well suited. Even with Hullbreaker and Embercleave being in the format, the cards are skill testing, but I mean, it's really not that skill intensive if you just... If you just play a card and it ultimately means that your opponent has to do something, um, there are ways to situationally put yourself ahead in that position to force them to have something, and if they don't have it, they just lose. There aren't very many cards in this format that do that. I'm going to take the Wanderer over Arena, and I hope to wheel one of these, because I'm going to get one of these to come back to me. These other cards are unfortunately not that great, but I'm going to take the Wanderer here. It's better to be able to put pressure on your opponent with this with mono black. I could take the Archive, but I think I'm going to take Life of Tetsuro Imazawa. It is a black card. It's pretty decent. And like I said, I think a lot of people play a lot of mono aggro decks, and I think mono black, even mono black splash Kaya is going to be fine. But overall, I actually really like this format. This cube, they did a pretty good job. Never perfect, but pretty close. I like taking Painful Bond. However, this card can be tricky. This is definitely a card you want to play either close to the last end of your cards or the last card in your hand. The life loss can matter, and that's the reason why I don't like playing it too early. But if you have a relatively high curve, then it might not matter. So there's Demonic Pact and the Bull Citadel. We'll just take the Citadel. It's super good. So cards we're hoping to see is Grey Merchant of Asphodel. That card would be a phenomenal pick for us. Any of the 6 mana and 5 mana creature removal, creature removal. They just they tick all the boxes on just how powerful the deck can be. In this pack, I think we want to see Arena. So we get Shade and there's a Blood Fountain. I typically like Blood Fountain a little bit more than Shade. Shade can't block. It is a bit aggressive, which is fine to get that chip damage in. And like I said, we could be, the Sacrifice build would be fine, but I'm just going to take Blood Fountain. It's a good turn 1 play, and it's a permanent that stays in play for the all-encompassing hopeful Grey Merchant we get. I'm going to take Seal Away here. This is a fine card. Enough of a reason to splash. I'll take the Squirrel. I don't know if I'll play it for now, because we don't really have any of the other sacrifice stuff yet. So we might not get any of them, so that's why I wouldn't take it here. We'll take the Turtle. The Turtle's good. I mean, we're not going to play it, but it's a fine enough card to take. Alright, we did get the Arena. That's what I was hoping to get. Oh, Onyx, and then there's Ugin, Trespasser, and Power Word Kill. All 4 of these cards are phenomenal, in my opinion. One of the best removal in the format. Onyx is great, especially we had a lot of spells. Ugin is just a house, and then there's Trespasser. Trespasser is a phenomenal creature. We could definitely use a Trespasser, but I think Ugin just... This card just ruins the... It's just... Oh, man, no. I can't pass on Ugin. I think Ugin's one of the very powerful cards in this format. Okay, we could take Celestis here to help us splash for a Seal Away and kind of ramp us a little bit. And this is a little bit of offsetting life gain for like the Phyrexian Arena, which is interesting. But there's Elspeth's Nightmare, which is pretty good against the aggressive shell. So if you think you're going to play against the more aggressive shell, I think taking Elspeth's Nightmare is the correct pick. However, I think Celestis is less likely to wheel, and I think Elspeth's Nightmare might wheel. But I'm going to take the black card here and hope to wheel the Celestis. Definitely not a guarantee. Guardian Isle would be a fine pick here, but there's March of Wretched Sorrow, which is okay. I mean, in the mono black deck, it's definitely going to shine a lot better because we have expendable cards, especially with like Arena. Which can get us a little bit further, and then Bull Citadel get us later into using our Bull Citadel. So we'll take the March here. So Rafine's Tower is a good card. Blade of the Oni is good. and Basilisk Collar is good. And I'm looking at those two cards. I think either of these will wheel. People don't like taking Basilisk Collar for some reason, but Rafine Tower will not wheel, and I need that card for the black and white splash purposes. So we have Sign of Blood and Blood Artist. So Blood Artist is a good card, just in general. It can attack though, so it's not that exciting. However, we do have some cards that are just good to get aggressive with, and I don't know. It's a consider here, so I'm thinking about it. Sign of Blood will help us get into our later game cards, but we have quite a bit of draw. So if this wheels, I'll take it. I'm going to take the Blood Artist. It's just a really good card. As of right now, I like our removal package. I like just a lot of what we get here. My only issue with this deck is that it is not too powerful yet, so we're going to hope that no one else is in a mono black deck where they're going to want to run Grey Merchant. I doubt anyone takes Grey Merchant, but maybe they take it just to spite pick me, which would make me sad. But we don't want that. Okay, so we want the Gear Hulk, but we also want the Soul Transfer, and there's a Bastion of Remembrance. I think all three of these cards are quite good. There's a chance that Bastion wheels, but neither of these will wheel. So, the really is the picks here. Thank you, King. I'm glad to see you as well. I had to take a few days off. I was kind of in a bad spot, so I needed to fix myself up a little bit here. I'm going to go with Noxious Gear Hulk. I just think this card's great. It's also good to play with Kaya, so ultimately that's what I'm going to lean towards. Granted, Soul Transfer is also a phenomenal spell. I think that it could play pretty well in our deck. We do have Seal Away, Blood Fountain, Elspeth's Nightmare, Phyrexian Arena, Life of Chishisaro. Not too many other artifacts right now, but we could get those. Artifacts are easier to get than the enchantments are. At least in the Mono Black shell. Okay, so there's only one pick for us. Granted, we're going to wheel something out of this pack, but if we do wheel anything, it's probably not going to be the Security Warden. Probably one of these red cards. But we're going to take Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth can just shut down a deck. I remember losing with my White Weenie. They played a Yawgmoth, and I just couldn't attack through it. I couldn't even go wide enough, fast enough for them to do it. So, yeah, Yawgmoth is pretty nuts. And atypically, it's a hard card for people to just go, I'm going to kill this. Usually they have to stop and kill some of our earlier stuff, and then they see this, and it's kind of just like seals the door shut. Okay, so Deadly Dispute. Phenomenal pickup here. I could have taken Blight Pathway here, would have been fine, but I think everything else is okay. Oof, I'm dying. Super hot. Okay. Oh, Professor Onyx wheeled? I mean, that's not too surprising. It's not the greatest card, but it's not bad. However, we only have like 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 4 spells to trigger it, but I'll still take it. It's a fine enough card. This is one of those cards we might not play, but Celestis did wheel, which I'm happy to see. Ooh, and Guardian Idol. Forsaken Crossroads is pretty good here, but Guardian Idol's also good. I'm going to take the Crossroads. We'll take that here. Basilisk Collar wheeled. Sign of Blood and Crawling Barrens. Crawling Barrens is interesting. It does give us an additional creature, but I'm just going to take the Sign of Blood. It gives us another spell to play alongside Professor Onyx. Granted, we're at our 23 right now, but we could definitely, from here, I like being at this spot at pack 2, because now all we can do is just slowly, change our cards as we go. I'll just take a counterspell. And who knows, we might even get to Splash Blue for Supreme Will. If we get enough fixing, I mean, anything's possible. Yeah, we got that red spell like I saw it. Not that it was too difficult of a pick here. So, going on the tinge of green-white, this is actually quite good, Dracula. There is heavy hitter. There's also Isolate Chapel and Drana. And Unlicensed Hearse is actually pretty good in some matchups. I mean, it's just a good card in general, but I'm going to take the... and it's not Dracula, Edgar. We'll take Edgar here. I think this is actually quite a good card, and it plays nicely in our 75. Okay, so Sledgemoor Witch is interesting. There's also Disfigure, which I'm leaning towards taking. Brutal Cathar is fine. Valorous Sense is fine, but Disfigure, I think this format does go pretty aggressive. However, Sledgemoor Witch is really strong. Yeah, I'll take Sledgemoor Witch. It combos pretty nicely with the tokens off of this. Alright, so we're going to get the Cavalier, which I'm going to take that over Malakar Rebirth and the Hagar Mauling. There's also Passage here, which would be fine, but we'll just take the Night Cavalier. So I think we can actually start cutting things to make room for this. Okay, Firemancer is really strong. It's actually incredibly good. Ophiomancer, I'm sorry. This card is very good. It's highly underdrafted. Maybe not so much now, but it was pretty underdrafted. And there's our Merchant. I almost always feel like I'm going to get the Merchant when I play Mono Black, because someone's going to get it. I'm going to start by cutting my lands to really look at what I have to cut. Oh, Invoke Despair? That's insane. We might even just cut white altogether. Black Market's also very good. Black Market, if we take Black Market, we could take Black Market here. Black Market Connection is interesting because it can really help us splash. Invoke Despair is very strong, though. I'm going to take Black Market. I actually think this card's just so good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take a removal spell here. Because I think splashing white is possible. The Awaken card is fine. I'm hoping to wheel some of those black-white duels that we passed. Probably not going to play Bolas' Citadel. I don't have too many cards that work with it that well. Not that you really need cards to work with it that well. It's just... it's a fine card. And my payoffs are okay. Maybe we play it. Alright. We'll take the Chapel here. So we got another dual lane for our deck. We just need to figure out what we want to do. I think Professor Onyx is kind of... I feel like we play some... if we play Professor Onyx, we should play the Bolas' Citadel. And we'll just trim stuff as we go. Maybe we don't play the draw spells. Just because we don't have a lot of ways to interact with... well, we have plenty of ways to interact with creatures, but maybe we have plenty of draw cards. We could take Harker's Journal, but I like Pilgrim's Eye. That's a fine card. Alright, we got Hagar Mauling out of all the spells? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. So we can count that as a land. I've learned with those lands in this format, it's fine to just count those as lands, especially if you're in like a two-color deck. Alright, Eldest Reborn. We'll get in there. That card's pretty good. We might not have to splash white at all. I mean, we don't have to. I just like white. I like Kaya quite a bit. She's very powerful. Alright, we'll take Terramander. It's funny that this is called Terramander, you just don't pronounce the P. Portable Hole is actually quite good. in this format. I'm starting to lean to like more of a black-white build with a slight splash of white. All right. Because Portable Hold's actually quite good. And our removal package in white is pretty strong. Okay, we're going to cut our lands and then just kind of work at the list. So we want to get down to at least 23 cards. Or 17 lands. Plus spells. So we're going to play Ugin, Massacre Worm, Bolsa Citadel. I think we're going to play all of our top heavy hitters here. And we'll probably just trim on the cards in this area, I guess. I mean, we could probably just cut. If we cut white, it makes it a lot easier for us to just build around that. Probably don't need Celestis at that point. And then we have decent draw on top of that. Yeah, you know what? This is probably fine. Like, how many spells do we have? 1, 2, 3. Oh, man. So this is my issue, is that we're probably not going to trigger this too many times if we don't play white. And that's the reason why I want to play white. And if we can't trigger Onyx that much either, I don't think that this card is worth playing. Yeah, so we'll cut Professor Onyx. I think that's a pretty easy one to cut. Alright. I like Bulls to Citadel a lot, but I'm going to cut it here for the sake of playing white in my list. I'm going to cut Arena for Black Market Connections. It's the same card, just Black Market Connections a lot more flexible. And that way it can play Fateful Abeyance. I do think Absence. Sorry, Fateful Absence. Which gives us another spell to add to the list. I mean, we really don't get that many spells, but we do get this as a land card, so we get Haggard Mauling as well. So that puts us at basically 23 and a half. And I'm willing to play 23 and a half and 16 and a half lands. Academy of Awakening is interesting. We do have Gearhulk, Massacre Worm, Cavalier. We have some decent cards to get back. If we play this, we'll probably still want to play 16 lands. So we'd have to cut something for it. I like to count these as half lands because you never know if you're gonna draw well enough for it to matter. I think I'm just gonna cut Eldest Reborn here. It's an okay card. I think it's quite good in many situations, but I think it's all right. All right, now we'll just add land to our deck. We'll put a Solitary Plains in our list because we only have 3 white spells, and then we have 3 duals, so we might as well just have 1 Plains. We'll go with the cool city art, and then the rest will be swamps. That puts us at 16 lands plus 2 spell lands, and then just these heavy hitters of cards. Just good to look over your deck. Alright, we like this. I think this is like our 20th arena draft. I have no idea. Honestly, maybe even more. So we'll just say, 20th-ish. Draft. I like to name the decks. It's fun to see. And we put some sleeves on it. Something we want to class up the joint. And really predict that we are playing black. Alright, this deck looks pretty fun. As long as we don't get too hosed We should be able to get a 7-win streak out of this. Now, granted, this isn't the best version of the deck I've drafted, but it's not a bad version of it. Alright. So there's an issue with this hand. There's no white in it. However, we do have a removal spell, and we have 4 lands. While being on the play. And if and when we draw our white source, these cards are quite good at any point in the game, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it on the draw. And I'm just going to play this tapped. On the cost of 3 life, I'm not going to sweat it. Okay. So our first play won't be till turn 4 unless we draw something we can cast here, which we didn't, because that's how Magic works for me. Hopefully we draw a white source if we're going to continually draw lands. Although most likely we're just going to kill Layla here. Yeah. I don't want them getting any more value off that card. Yeah, I'm guessing I probably should have mulliganed, I guess. I don't know. It's not looking good for us. Yeah. I mean, this is how Magic works. It's getting magicked. It's kind of rough. Magda. Although Massacre Worm is pretty gross here. I was just going to say it, but like it popped up as soon as I play it. Granted, we're going to take 2 from these, but we get to eat their whole board, which is huge. If they target the worm, it makes me a little bit happier that they might use burn elsewhere. I really don't want my next play to be Ugin, so I'm going to hope we either draw a spell we can cast or a white source. Granted, if it's a tapped white source, we're just going to end up playing Ugin on turn 8. This is a 2-turn clock as it sits on the board. Interesting. I wonder if they do attack here. I think I'm kind of fine with trading. Okay, yeah, well, they're forcing me to block, so I guess I have to block. Alright, we can drain life their Planeswalker here, which is kind of huge. I think I will, because they can double pump. Yeah. We'll do that. We're going to do it for 6. Alright. If we draw no tap, I mean, our opponent has had some unfortunate events here, but we've top decked pretty well. If we draw another land and it's untapped, Ugin's going to be insane. I mean, this isn't the worst card. We can kill a goblin here. Yeah, them forcing me to block was kind of crazy, but, you know, whatever. You do what you have to. Yeah, that's it. So I can gain 2 life here. Then I die to the board, so yeah, they got us. Way to go, Magic. Give me false hope. I should have mulliganed. I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but, you know, whatever. Like I said, at any point, both of those cards would have been fine. Like even there, if we drew a white source, we could have played, and we didn't have Ugin, we could have played Kaya or the 4/4, which would have kind of helped us out a little bit because we could use the Yamazawa to kill the 3/1, and then played Kaya, exiling their Legion War boss. However, I think they still had lethal. I think we live if we drew an untapped land and played Ugin, based on the way the game was going, but that's just not how it worked out. Alright, I'm willing to keep this. It's a good hand. I mean, by good hand, it's a decent enough hand to keep. Cool. It wouldn't surprise me if they take Agadeem's Awakening. Okay, they did not. They instantly took Ugin. They're like, no, you can't have that card. No, it's okay. Now, I don't think I have any ways to get back Ugin in my deck. I don't remember any. Yeah, so Ugin's gone for good. Okay. We'll float a white here. We'll go get our planes. So they're also playing blue. Interesting. Yeah. I was thinking about looting, but I don't think we need to. Oh, they have the cool Mole Drifter. Actually, I'm thinking about taking that over Yorion. Although Yorion does slide out my Gonti and Blood Fountain, so I can have more blood tokens. Yeah, I think Yorion's probably better. We'll take that. And we don't need to play Yorion next turn. If they kill our Lord of Luxury, it's probably not worth it. They have no idea what we're playing with. I know that. Alright. Taking 2. Sure. Alright. Now, our Blood Fountain can get that back, so I'm not too worried about it. That's kind of gross. Alright, Blood Artist is interesting. Question is, do I get greedy? And play the Yorion? I think I do. Yeah. And I'll just blink out the fountain here, which will get us just another blood token, which is fine. This can now trade here. If they want to kill it, fine, because then I can play my Noxious Gearhulk and then kill their entity anyways. Interesting. Alright, so they obviously have a counterspell. You don't just do that. Alright, I'll play my guy then. If they want to counter something, they can counter this. And if they don't have a counterspell, I guess that's on me. Alright, they're probably gonna... If they attack with this, they're gonna attack with this too. Okay. I'll block like that. Now what's cool here is that I can sack my Blood Fountain to get back these two creatures, which I'm fine with. But based on the board state here, it's going to be more in our favor to keep the game going longer. But I am just going to get back my two creatures. Interesting. It'll sack itself here. What? Alright. I mean, that seems insane. Of course. They traded their bigger flyer for... That didn't make any sense at all. Why would you do that? Because this only gains life off toughness. Okay, that's fine. So I can't... Oh, wow. Never mind. Granted, they can attack this now, but that'll tap them out. Ugh. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Hmm. Okay. So I'm going to choose all the modes here, because I can afford to do it once. I'm going to put this on white and scry. Definitely don't need a land. Okay. It's either a take extra turns card, or it's the draw spell, or it could be counterspell as well. But maybe they're thinking about doing memory. I think memory would kill them. I don't think they should do that. But if they're desperate enough, that's fine. I could do it again, but I could die to their land if I do that. So I think I'm just going to draw an additional card here. Because they can pump this once and then attack with it again. It'd still be short by one, yeah. So I'll just draw a card. They're not going to be able to block my Gearhulk, but they could block my Shapeshifter, so I'm going to attack. Trickster. I mean, if they have a counterspell, they have to use it. Oh, they don't have any blue open. I'm thinking about killing that, but I won't. I'll just say go. Yeah, we'll just draw a card. They can't block this, they can block here, so... So I still gain the life from the Cavalier. They could have the 5 mana counterspell. I don't know how much I want to give them this, if that's the case. So I guess I'll play another card here. But granted, I'd rather them not grow their guy either. You know what? I'll just say go. They're in a really dangerous spot. I do not think that was the play. Sure. Alright, we got there. So it was saw it coming is what they had over there. I was wondering, because you don't cast that spell from your graveyard. Alright, yeah. They were basically conceding at that point. Alright, we got our first one down. 6 more to go. Let's do this. Woof. Alright, we're playing against Chimney. Hopefully that's how you pronounce that. Alright, we have white and black mana here and a solid game plan. Elfish Mystic. That's pretty strong. I'm fine to trade with this. I doubt they block. But this advertises I might not have a land. They could take the pressure off. Yeah, okay. We'll go to white here. Scry, and there's a land on top. We're good to go. So blue-green is really strong in this format. I mean, that's a pretty good card. Yeah. I'm going to get my value from my witch if I can. Although, if they get a land off the top, that's pretty strong for them. Okay, so they don't have a land on top. So, if I want to be aggressive, we can attack with the Wanderer. But I think we're just going to kill the tracker. That way, if we draw another lane, we can just play Asphodel here. Gargaroth, that is pretty gross. Definitely not a card I want to see. But Yawgmoth is quite good. Now, we haven't played a land yet. I think we'll kill their Mana Dork here. Because it's pretty free. And hopefully get a land. Did not. I definitely want to hit a land drop, so I'm going to sacrifice to make their Gargaroth a little smaller. There we go. Alright, so they had a land off the top there. They got some value. So they'll probably draw a card here. Oh, they're just going to make a creature. We're going to take the 5. Right now, this represents 6 damage. Alright. Ooh, March of Sorrow. So now we have an answer to their Gargaroth, but we could pitch something out of our hand. I really don't want to exile any of these cards here because they're all really good. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to do 4 damage to their Gargaroth and then sacrifice a token from my Witch to finish it off. We hit our land drop, which is what we wanted. Yeah, Yawgmoth has been nothing but insane here. So I could attack with my Witch and my Yawgmoth, If they double block here, yeah, we're not going to attack this. Not necessary. Because I think we can kill them next turn. Through Asphodel for 6 and then sack 3 creatures. So. Yeah, Yawgmoth is really good here. This blocks their 3/3 for free, and we just take 2. I mean, if they have a counterspell, they'll use it. Honestly, if they countered anything and took it, would not be good for us. Outside of Grey Merchant, so I'm just going to cast Grey Merchant. That's pretty good. Leaves them 2 mana to bust a clue. So they're going to take 4 damage here. Yeah. That actually went better than I thought it would. So we're really close to just killing them with the Massacre Worm next turn. It's depending on what they play. Interesting. I mean, I'll block. Okay. I mean, what do you kill here? Do you kill the Blood Artist, or do you kill Grey Merchant? Blood Artist, okay. Alright. Yeah, we're just going to lean into this Massacre Worm here. If they have a counterspell, there's only Disdainful Stroke they could have. Okay, okay, we win. We won! So, yeah, because they die. Even if they crew this, they still lose their guy. Take 2, then I swing for lethal. They were kind of boned at that point anyways. Their cards were really good. I think their deck looked really strong. We just drew better than their deck could offer. And Yawgmoth really showed its power there. Alongside the Sledge Witch. So. And the black cards in this format are pretty strong. I wouldn't say OP at any... Oh, this is a pretty good hand. By any means, but... just good. Massacre Worm might be borderline too powerful, but who knows. You probably don't need to play that first. You should attack first, almost always, but not worried about it. Menace. Alright. In the first instance, I almost always just pay the full 6. That's kind of cool. Plus, we also have... I mean... I think I do attack here. If they want to block, then I can sack a token to kill this. I doubt they block, because this is a pretty easy no block. Alright. Yeah, we'll just play the Dracula here. Oh, right. I forget this is a shapeshifter token, which is kind of cool. Reach and Menace. Okay. So, if I create, I would like to draw land too. So I'm gonna pay 3. All right, that's not bad. So I can go Aria and either follow it up with Blood Artist or Faithful Absence. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Aria out. And then we're definitely going to attack with Dracula and this. So I guess we go there. And then I'll just hold up Fateful Absence. I think they're going to make treasures. Yeah. Make a black-white vampire token, which is cool with Aria. That is not cool. This gained hexproof. This would be a terrible card to deal with. So, granted, their flyers can be a menace, but I'm willing to deal with it. All right, we drew a land. Nice. I can't really attack into that without losing my creature. And I just really don't want to lose my Aria. Because now I can sack this to draw a card. I was afraid they might have something like that. I think you just attack with the Glorybringer, but maybe you attack with both. Because you're definitely attacking this, killing something. Alright, we'll sack it and draw a card. That's pretty gross. Alright, so they go to 6. Definitely making a treasure token here. Yeah, we'll just do a treasure token. Oh, I would not have done that if I were them. Because at this point, they're just surrendering. Because now they don't have a good block. Alright, another game won by Massacre Worm. Even in the game we lost, Massacre Worm almost put us right back into the game. Well, it did put us back into the game, and then we lost because we didn't draw our 8th land. But Massacre Worm, very good. Very, very good. In this format, at least. I mean, I remember when Massacre Worm was first printed, I was like, this card is insane. Alright, we have our white and black mana. Black Market Connections. This is a pretty solid hand. I'm happy to keep it. Oh, yeah. Gosh, the first time that was printed was so awesome. Yeah, I think the new Shieldred's okay. There's a lot to be desired in that card. Like, I've seen a version before the first spoiled of her was busted, and I was like, that can't be real. And I'm glad it's not, because the new version it's like 4 mana for a 4/5 Death Touch. I'm probably gonna have to kill that because this card's actually scary, especially with black market connections. We're probably gonna kill that. Sure. So they're getting mana. Well, depending on the format, it looks like they're going to have a lot of heavy discard effects and draw. So she's basically a creature version of Underworld Dreams plus another random card. Because whenever you draw a card, you gain life, and whenever they draw a card, they lose life. Which is kind of interesting. Alright, we're going to do the full Monty like I always do. Um, I don't think there's an XL in these. Well, I guess there's the burn spells that can XL. Dracula is just a pretty tough card for people to deal with. Alright, they're going to blow up my enchantment. Or they're setting up for Dracula. Interesting. They should sack the clue. They should have done that last turn, actually, in my opinion. Alright, so they don't have green. Yeah, we'll just take a treasure here. We have a lot of spells we can play. Yeah, I think we can attack both, but oh wait, they could have. What could they have? The 5 damage spell to everything and languish. Hmm. I mean, if they have anything, they'll just kill my guy and then kill my artifact. I guess I'm going to just make peace with that because I have Blood Fountain. Yeah, so I'm not going to play anything beforehand. We'll just attack here. They're incentivized to block or have a removal spell. Interesting. The fact they had nothing is kind of surprising. I'm going to play Life of Imizawa, and then I'm going to gain 2 life here. Nope, cancel that. And then I'm going to play Asphodel and gain 5 life. That way I can play with the black market a little bit more. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Now I don't know what they have. I thought maybe they had like a Wrath of God or something, based on the way they were playing. I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, well, if they do kill our board with a Wrath of God, which it looks like they don't have one. Sure. Well, we killed another one. Yeah, Mono Black is really fun to play. If you can get into it. Yeah, look at that. We're just killing the... taking win after win after win here. Oof. Oh, man. I'm dying. Oof. It's hot. It's really humid up here. It usually isn't this bad, but it is right now. I think also my room retains heat really well, which is crazy. It's well insulated, so during the winter I'm usually always super warm, even if I don't have the AC or the heating on. So it's both a blessing and a curse. Cheeky Gremlin. Ooh, cool. I think all gremlins are cheeky. Interesting. Depending on if we draw a land or not, since we're on the draw, I'm going to keep this in my hand for a couple turns. Because having a removal spell would be really nice here. Interesting. That's pretty good. However, if I don't draw a land, I have at least one more turn to draw land and I can cycle something, so I can't really block that. Or attack into it, so... Oof. Chain Whirler. See, this is a human, gets blocked pretty well. Yeah. I'm gonna sack this and ditch my Grey Merchant for now. Ooh, okay, that's pretty good. We didn't hit a land, but that means I'm probably gonna play this as a land. But this at least kills 2 damage. gross. There's a good chance we die to a... I will gain 2 life. There's a good chance we die to Ambercleave next turn. But I'm still going to play my physician here. Yeah, Ambercleave represents 16 damage. I guess I block here. I mean, 16 minus 4. I guess we go to 1. Yeah. If you got the Embercleave, you win. Okay. Okay. So I have to play around the Embercleave. I don't want to, but I have to. It's good that we have this creature, so now I can play this and just straight kill their Annex. Although... yeah, we just kill the Annex here. What's crazy is here we have a Massacre Worm set up, so if we draw an untapped source, we can just play that. If they kill our guy, we get our 2/1 back from our yard. Alright. Six. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 14 plus 5. So it's 10. 14. Yeah, we can block this. So we negated this damage with this guy. Okay, so they got 2 more damage to come. Oof. Why? Bone Crush as well. Ugh. Alright. I mean, if they got lethal to the face, we're dead. Okay, so they didn't have a land to kill us with like an expel. Alright, give him haste. Show me your worst. This is actually worse for them to do this. Because I get to trade their big creature. Basically get their whole board minus 1 creature, and then they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I don't block with the Pyromancer. And we block here. Oh, no, we die if we do that. Okay. So I guess it doesn't really matter if we're going to trade it. So we take 2, and then they take 7. Yeah. Never mind. The first strike, I shouldn't have blocked that way. That was my bad. I mean, I really didn't have other way to block, so... Tapped? Untapped, yeah. So we go Massacre Worm here. And then you get an extra combat phase. Unless they have a haster, they can't kill us this turn. Yep, they got us. Give them the GGs. Well played. Ugh. Missing that 1 land drop was huge, but that's okay. Can't win them all. We can try, but we can't win them all. Get out of here, bug. So I felt like I made a piloting error. I definitely did. I shouldn't have blocked with the first striker on the Blood Artist. So if anything, we can learn from our mistakes. And just remember to keep in mind first strike as a priority when blocking with Blood Artist. This is a pretty decent hand. If our opponents are playing an aggressive shell, which they still might be, but we definitely give them the greetings. And an angel. To show them that we are in a good mood to play Magic. I was hoping for a 1 toughness creature really badly. Island or Swamp, probably. Yeah. Alright, so they're on 5 colors, so we'll just start gaining life for our black market. We definitely drew the control version of our deck here. We are the control deck of the black, for the most part. Interesting. Was not expecting that. Wow, okay. I think we still pay life here. The full amount, because I think having a 3-2 and a 2-4 is going to be fine here. And then we can go Kaya. So we do this and treasure. We're not going to draw a card, though. I don't think we can afford that much life. And we can get rid of the Uvenwald here. And now we have 2 creatures that can kill this one. And we'll probably just make treasures from here on out until we stabilize the board. No, they're looking at specialization. They could have a red card here. Deal damage to us, or... or put counters on it. I guess that's not the direction they're heading. Sure. I'll return this to my hand. I'll get some more value out of it. I can either go Massacre Worm or play Life of Imizawa and Yawgmoth. And I think we just go Massacre Worm here. When we pass here. That way if they get this off the board somehow, minus bouncing, we can make a 1/1 and double block. Okay, so they have Shredder. No, they're going to get back multiple choice. And they could discard a different spell and get back that instead. Okay. Alright. Treasured is. Now, we did just draw an amazing card here. So we'll go there first. Kill their... Yeah, we'll kill their flyer because I can't block it. We're still gaining the same amount of life. And then we go... I mean, do we exile this? I'm debating whether I want to exile this or not. Yeah, I think we just exile this. I think this will be a much bigger problem in the long run. I'm gonna leave back my worm just in case they play. A different card. Granted, we should, want to be attacking, but if they bounce my Gearhulk to my hand, I'm actually okay with that. Not so much with the worm. Since I can't target, I get to choose. It's a big deal. But next turn, I'll definitely attack with both. If not all. I could definitely attack with all. I mean, we actually have lethal next turn if they can't block, so... They have some sick lands, though. I like that art. I forget what set this is from. Okay, I guess they're kind of pushed into doing it. I will recast my... Oh, they don't have to choose. Okay, okay. That's smart on them. We could risk it all and pay 6, but I don't think that's right. I think we can afford to pay... If they have Crackle, they can kill us if we pay too much. But I do think we should... I think we should pay 3, because we have the life of Imazawa to consider here. Yeah. Well, I'll swing for... I'm gonna leave this back. No. Yeah, we definitely swing with everything. They're definitely in a mode where they'll probably double block the Gearhulk. Or they'll double block the Massacre Worm. They can't double block the Massacre Worm. Interesting. Alright, so they're going to take 11. Okay. They go to 3. Yeah, it can kill that and drop them to 1. Alright, I think we're gonna... ditch a land here. Okay, that was a good draw. That was an insane draw. What can I say? They take 2. Yep, and that's game. Woof. I'm like, there's got to be an out. I'm pretty sure I could kill them with another game where Massacre Worm won me the match. Woo! I mean, the flexible uh, life of Tetsuawa was really awesome. Massacre Worm is pretty strong for a reason. There's a reason why I first picked it. Like, I think when people pass on it, I don't think they realize how good that card is. If it's in pack 1 and it's available, you should probably think about playing. I wasn't thinking my opponent would not. I thought they would guarantee to double block my menace, but they must have not had a strong game plan. Outside of attacking with their creatures, or they were just leaving themselves a ton of outs. I'm not really sure. I guess it was better for them to leave themselves more outs than not. Alright, it's a pretty good hand. I'll definitely keep it. We might even get to keep our Agademe in our hand. Play to the late game with it. Especially against black-white. It's a pretty grindy color combination. Ooh, that's a good draw. On the chance that they have Wedding Announcement and a couple other token generators, I'm going to hold up my Deadly Dispute instead. Like that one. Granted, I'll probably just kill it right now. Yeah. Okay, we play our land. We pass. I mean, it's possible they have Restoration Angel. But they could also just have like a Day of Judgment and get us for 2. A 2 for 1 that I don't really particularly want to deal with. Yeah, I'll just say go here. Okay. I assumed it was the clue, but on the off chance it was a creature, I'd rather not fall too behind. Alright, nice. This will allow us to play around this card for the most part. They do have a Biomancer as well. Ooh. So Gonti's good. But what do I discard here? Probably Life of Imizawa. Okay, let's get some information from the top of our deck. We're going to put this on white. I guess we could play both Blood Artist and Gonti. I guess we'll untap here. We'll start by casting Lord of Luxury. Top of their deck is Agadim and Valor Stance. I guess we take... We'll take Valor Stance, and here we'll just pass now. Well, I don't want that in my graveyard. So they bring back their Ophiomancer most likely. I mean, they can bring back my creature, but I don't really care about that. We have Ugin and Kaya. That shuts off two of our big cards. I can't do anything about it, but it does. And I have no way of getting it off the board outside of, like, getting an answer out of their deck. Alright. And we send a message. Hopefully they don't have Massacre Worm. I mean, it's a strong chance that they do, but hopefully they don't. Elsinore is pretty rough. Alright. So, I'd like to draw an answer to their Elsinore this turn. We do have quite a few still in our deck. And that's one of them. So, if we draw... We're a singular land away from getting our Gearhulk back. But I don't know if that's worth waiting. Maybe we wait a turn for it. Probably not. If we can get back all these things, we can definitely, yeah. I think we'll just get back everything but the Gearhulks. We'll do it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hopefully we draw an answer to their Immortal of the Suns. We did not. They don't get to have their Kaya, although that wouldn't be active. So let's just take the Massacre Worm. That's really huge. Massacre Worm's gross. Hey, at least they don't have the Massacre Worm. We know they don't. So we already got rid of their Elshnorr. They've got 1 reanimate away from it. Seal away. Get rid of our guy. That's fine. That's like our least effective creature on this board. We'll find out here, hopefully. Alright. Banishing Light. Interesting. What do you do it on? Gonti? Okay. That is kind of gross. I can only play 1 spell per turn right now. So I'm kind of like in this weird spot. Granted, attacking with the Ophiromancer is probably not great. But attacking with it's not great because then they get to attack with this. So I think we'll just play our enchantment and say go. Because we have lots of life to just pay 6 at least once. They get our Mancer, right? Okay. I kind of want them to attack, so they make a token, and we just take an extra 2 damage off of it. Because this is keeping that at bay. I mean, it's possible we draw 2 Massacre Worms. I mean, really, what do they have here? Massacre Worm? Okay, that's pretty bad for me. So we drew a land. We're definitely going to draw a card. Yeah, I think we can afford 1 more turn of just doing 6 damage. Oh, yeah. We can drop them down to 5 life. Take 2, 3, 4. 7, 3, that's 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Block. I think I have to play the Massacre Worm here. It's not what I want to do. I really wanted to wait one more turn, but they can actually put it in a way we can't race it, and we can only cast one spell per turn while this is out, so might as well put them at 5. That way this is lethal, and this is lethal if they lose a creature on their side on their turn. Oh, gotta be kidding me. Alright. Alright, we'll just draw a card. Hopefully we don't draw another land. But if we draw a Planeswalker, we're not in a good spot. That isn't bad. As cards go, that is not the end of the world. I mean, we're still in a bad spot. I don't know what their holdup there is. I mean, granted, they've been drawing really well. I know they're not at their Agadeem's Awakening yet. But I think it's like next turn they'll have access to it. Then it'll be lights out. I think they got us. Yeah. Alright, they got us. Yeah, the Immortal Sun definitely took a couple of our cards off the chopping block. Granted, we did draw a bunch of lands there when we were way far ahead that whole game, but Mortal Sun's got him out of it. Alright, that's pretty good here. Let's just go over the deck real fast. So overall, I really liked our deck. If there was a few things I'd change, I don't know. Maybe have gotten like a disenchant in there, because Immortal Suns did wreck us, and since our two ways of getting it off the board, or our one way, we just weren't anywhere close, and I didn't have an answer to it outside of that. So yeah, I think overall our deck looked pretty good. So yeah, mono black, splashing white is fine. Splashing any color would be fine, but just straight mono black is usually the way I like to go. All right. All right, I'll see y'all next time, and peace.